While I was coming back to Korea on the plane, I watched a couple of movies, as people do, and one of them was called Sumi and Utsumi, a Japanese movie about two young guys just sitting around close to a nearby river, more like a creek, really. And chatting, and the movie is divided up into these different chapters. These sort of little events happen in their lives as they kill time talking with each other. The other movie was The Big Lebowski by the Coen brothers, and the third wasn't a movie. The third thing that I did on the plane was read a book, but it was sort of a movie-esque kind of book, Michael Turner's American Whiskey Bar. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit later because it deserves some attention. It deserves more attention than I can give today. But what I'm going to talk about right now is a comparison between The Big Lebowski and this much lesser known Canadian work from the lit canon, The Glass Knight by David Helwig. Now, The Big Lebowski is too much of a movie to really discuss critically in an effective way in just a few minutes. But one of the things that's interesting about it, that's significant, is it's set around the time of the 1991 Gulf War. It's set around the time of George H.W. Bush's decision to wage war against Iraq. And we know that was not a simple story that ended easily. That whole event is very much in the background of the Big Lebowski, but it sort of provides a kind of thematic throughness to the whole movie, and it comes up in sort of odd kinds of ways, including at the conclusion when Lebowski gets angry at his friend when they're doing a memorial for another friend who's died tragically during a heart attack when the three of them were attacked by a weird gang of German thugs. And So the idea of militarism, anti-militarism, is something that runs sort of a thread very lightly throughout the movie. It's not really major to the movie, but it's there. It's the whole question of this war is in the background. The whole question of war, period, is in the background. And similarly, in The Glass Knight, the background is the October crisis of 1970, which was a seminal event for Canada and is perceived very differently by English Canadians and Quebecois. But what's striking about this book is, and it's what makes it similar to my mind with The Big Lebowski, is the degree to which, even though there's this very important political event happening, it is strangely sort of distant. It's somehow it's there, but at the same time it's not there dramatically. It's not there in a sort of fearful way, just as the war in Iraq is not there in a fearful way for the characters. It's almost as if another country is fighting the war, and it's almost as if in The Glass Knight, another country is having an October crisis. I'm just going to read a passage from it in which Robert goes to meet, Robert is a lefty, a writer, an older guy who's having an affair with a younger woman, and this is all happening in the middle of the October crisis. At one point, he drives up to Ottawa with his girlfriend, Elizabeth, and they go to the Parliament buildings to see an old friend of his named Peter. And Peter is also a lefty, but now he's an MP in the Liberal Party, i.e. he's not much of a lefty anymore. Robert walked up the hill, looking across the grass to where a troop carrier was stationed on one of the driveways leading up to Parliament. He always felt a sense of weight, of mysterious presence when he approached the Parliament buildings. The human ordinariness, the dirty jokes among the speechwriters in the press club, the venality and bickering were there, but there was something else there as well. The buildings embodied a human adventure. The soldiers in the streets provoked this knowledge. There was danger in how men cared about their lives. Robert felt a kind of awe in the face of this. End of quote. It's well written, but there's something, to my mind, there's something missing. Just as there's something missing politically from The Big Lebowski, there's something missing from this too. And you can see that the event, the October crisis, is sort of almost an item for philosophical quasi-deep thought of a certain kind of ink and lit style. Is that successful art or not? Well, that's something I'm going to have to discuss later.